Okay, this one is the Helle brand. It's called a Temagami. It's made in Norway. Just an interesting note, and although this didn't really mean anything to me, this one in particular was designed by Survivor Man, Les Stroud. That was very low on the list of important factors with this one. Mainly, I wanted a Swedish/Norwegian type design bushcraft knife that had a Scandi grind, and I was also looking for one that was all high carbon steel. This particular brand, most of them from what I understand are made in a laminated stainless steel. They're very nice knives, most of them are very comfortable, very sharp, but I wanted to have that high carbon steel. I looked around and there were a couple of different styles that did have the all high carbon steel, and this was one of them, and this was the most comfortable and I found the most pleasant. So that's why I picked up this one. I'll show you. It comes in a very nice sheath. The sheath itself is nice heavy leather, a couple of rivets holding it together. It's very well constructed. It's very nice friction fit in there. The knife itself is 9 inches from tip to pommel, their overall length. The blade length is 4.5 inches. Excuse me, I'm sorry, that's 4.25 inches from tip to the handle. It's 1 inch in width in this direction, and the blade the thickness of the blade itself is 1/8 of an inch. The handles are a curly birch. There are brass rivets here and here, and this rivet is, of course, a hollow rivet, so you can put a thong through the end. This one, as I mentioned, is all high carbon steel, and it's a laminated carbon steel. So basically, the lamination process is to both give it strength and flexibility, but also retain a very sharp, hard cutting edge. So I'll put this a little closer so you can see what I'm talking about. The blade itself, the main cutting edge here, is laminated between 2 other pieces of steel. So there's 3 layers. The middle layer is an extremely extremely hard high carbon steel, and then the 2 outer layers are a softer high carbon steel that provides flexibility. So there's a sandwich. There's 2 pieces of soft steel here, and then this piece is the hardened steel. So this retains the edge, and these 2 pieces are the soft, more flexible, so it gives a lot of more strength. If you look very closely on the blade, right here, 1/4 inch from the edge of the blade is where the softer steel begins. So from this point to the back is all the softer steel, and from this point forward is where the sharp, hard steel is exposed. So of course that's your cutting edge. So the Scandi grind over here, the main portion of it, the main half portion of it in the front, is where the hardened steel is exposed. Now, something that I found a little disappointing, and actually noticed that they discuss on their website, this little feature here, as you saw on maybe the Condor knife ahead of time, before this, there are a couple of toothy grooves cut in there. I think that, or they say that was intended for both use with your finger for more control of the blade, but also as an area to strike on your fire steel. That does not work. This softer steel that's sandwiching the hard steel, the softer steel does not take a very good bite, if at all, off of fire steel. You can get a very tiny spark, but not much at all. And off the regular edge, you can't get a spark at all. The only place that you can get a spark off of is right here at the tip, where the hardened steel, from this point to the tip, right about 1/4 of an inch, is where the hardened steel is exposed, and you can get a good spark off of there. So it does take a little practice to get a good spark off of there, and it's very localized on that blade. That's the only thing that I found rather disappointing. Otherwise, I found the knife very beautiful. It's very comfortable, very soft in the hand. The handle and the grip are very comfortable. It's a beautiful blade. It's very sharp. It came from the factory with an extremely sharp edge on it. It goes through paper like butter. I won't show you, but the tops of my thighs and my ankles, I've shaved all the hair off of it. It was just so sharp, it just took it right off. I've used this out in the woods a little bit. As you can see, there are some wear marks on it. That's something that you do need to be aware of. High carbon steel is very susceptible to wear and to rusting and to staining. So you can see even there's just a little bit of staining here. It's very delicate, so you do have to oil it, take care of it. Other than that, though, it's a great blade. Yeah, so I like it very much. If you have any questions about it, just let me know. But otherwise, I recommend it highly. In comparison, though, since this one was a lot more expensive than my than the Condor one that I purchased, I will be using the Condor, of course, more often for basic bushcraft type stuff. But I'm going to keep this one around and use it sparingly when it comes to a real nice camping trip. I want to have a nice knife with me. This will be the one to bring along. But it was a lot more expensive, so I'm going to be a little more careful with it. Okay, thanks very much. Let me know if you have any questions.